We're excited to be releasing Indico 2.0, the next installment of our easy-to-use visual analytics application. This release is a major update to Indico with mapping support for geographic information, temporal filtering for date-time data, new data actions to fix troublesome data, and many other features. In this video, you'll see some of these latest additions and come away with a better understanding of how Indico can help you with your data problems. We'll start by loading some files from a folder into Indico. I have a directory full of several hundred unstructured Word documents, reports produced by Strategic Forecasting, and an Excel spreadsheet with 3,000 rows of structured data about National Science Foundation, or NSF, grants. Now that I've loaded the data, I can take a quick look at it in its raw form, or, more usefully, I can view it as a link chart, which shows the people, places, and relationships Indico detected during import. To do this, I'll make a snapshot of the All Entities source to create a new entity set. Next, I'll make a link chart of the entity set. And finally, I'll use betweenness centrality to encode the nodes. Using Indico's social network analysis tools, like centrality metrics and shortest path finding, allows us to easily see the potentially valuable people within the source documents. This view is currently showing information from just the Word documents, but telling Indico how to build link charts from the spreadsheet is also very easy. Using Indico's WYSIWYG interface for data mapping, I simply drag the columns of the spreadsheet to draw a network that looks like the chart I want Indico to make. Once I've drawn the network I want to see, click the OK button to begin the mapping operation. Once the mapping operation is complete, I need to build an entity set from the records I have in the current doc set. This will create an entity set of just the entities that come from these documents. Next, I can build a link chart and zoom in to see some of the nodes in the network. As I hover over each node, Indico highlights all of the nodes within one hop. To analyze the raw data, we'll select some entities, create a doc set, and create a pivot chart to see the top states receiving grants and which NSF directorates issued them. To do this, we select some entities and create a doc set. The doc set will consist of all of the documents comprising these entities. From the doc set, we create a pivot view. Configuring the pivot view, we drag fields from the right side to the dimensions and measures area. For the measure, we'll use the awarded amount to date. For the X dimension, we'll use the NSF directorate, and the Y dimension is the state receiving the grant. Sorting the rows and columns and selecting the top 3x3 recipients shows us the states and directorates receiving the most money. The NSF grant data also has a wealth of information that's currently locked up in some poorly formatted fields. I'll use Indico's Data Actions feature to clean it up and make it easier to visualize. First, the Principal Investigator field is shown as last name, first name, but I need it to be first name, last name so that it lines up with another field we'll see in a second. To do this, I'll use the invert action, pick a field, tell Indico what to use as the delimiter between the first and second halves, and provide a name for the fixed values. There's also a field where multiple values are concatenated together using the vertical bar or pipe character. I'll fix this with the decatenation action. To set up decatenation, I pick the source field, enter the delimiter separating the source values, and provide a name for the new field. Next, I'll construct a single city-state pair from the individual city and state fields using the concatenation action. Indico needs to know which fields and in what order to concatenate, what to concatenate them with, and where to place the new values. And finally, I'll geocode the new city-state field so that this data will plot nicely on a map. Setting up geocoding is also as easy as selecting an input field and entering an output field name. Once all the data actions have completed, I can just click on the Geographic button to show this data on a map. Now we'll add a little more flavor to the link chart by mapping the co-PIs to the PIs. This is done through the Entity Settings dialog. We select the data source and then add the new co-PI name field to the mapping. Since we inverted the principal investigator name, we delete the old mapping and use the new PI name field as the new PI mapping. These two mappings are type person so that they show up with the correct icon on the link chart. We then link them together. We'll then add in some extra information in the entity attributes mapping. For organization, we'll add the name, the location, and the expiration date of the grant. For the PI and the co-PI, we'll also add in location and expiration date so that they show up correctly on a map and in the temporal filter. Once the new mappings are complete, I'll make a new link chart from the spreadsheet data and tell Indico to highlight critical nodes in the network. To create this link chart, we first create an entity set from the spreadsheet data. And then we click the link chart button. Let's say we're only interested in data where the grant expiration date is in the future. To do this, I use the temporal filter at the bottom and select the year 2013 and beyond. Now when we zoom out, we see only the organizations that have grants expiring in 2013 or later. Also, since the entities in the link chart now have geographic attributes, thanks to the data actions and my extra mappings, I can also see this network on a map. To conclude, I've shown you some data using Indico's link chart on a map and in a pivot chart, all of which are easy to configure, use, and understand. Getting data out of Indico is also as easy as clicking the export button to use the data or images in your reports. For more information about Indico, please send an email to sales@fpsviz.com or visit www.fpsviz.com. Thank you for your time.